on Mountain News this morning, first responders battled a fire in Pikeville. A person in the home saved by a Good Samaritan. And with the season approaching to file your taxes, we hear from a certified public accountant about the things you need to have ready for the occasion.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good Friday morning to you. I'm Caroline Mueller here with you on this January 16th. The time is now 5:32. Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Desmel for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, you even said it when I walked in. I was all bundled up because it is frigid out there.
It is so
cold. Put it simply.
Yeah, I think you should do exactly what Caroline did. Hat, scarf, jacket. I don't know if you had gloves on or not, but the point is you should stay bundled up, wear those layers because it is very cold outside and we're starting to see a little bit of a snow chance for some folks. So let's take a look at satellite and radar as you're heading out the door. Snow right now falling in portions of Wayne and Pulaski County. We can see that extending over the next couple of minutes up to a couple of hours as that small system makes its way through. Now this is not going to be the main weather maker for today as we do have a wintry mix returning as we head towards the evening hours. But on top of that snow chance, yes, as we mentioned, it's very cold. These are the temperatures outside: 10 degrees in Jonesville, 8 in Clintwood, 14 in Louisa, and those feels like temperatures are even colder. So again, layers, 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 which thankfully you won't need all day long as the high temperatures do make its way into the mid to upper 40s. But as I mentioned, winter mix is coming, and that's pushed with some colder air that we're watching. Caroline.
Thanks, Megan. State police say one person is dead after a crash on US 460 near the Magoffin County line. Troopers say 84-year-old Roger Ball of West Liberty was traveling in a pickup truck when he went off the road before hitting an embankment. He was pronounced dead by the Morgan County coroner. A couple were found dead after a shooting in southern Kentucky. State police say it happened Wednesday morning at a home in Metcalfe County. Police say 83-year-old Doris June Huffman was found dead inside the home from an apparent gunshot wound. Authorities also found 87-year-old Vander Huffman inside the home with life-threatening injuries. He later died after he was taken to T.J. Sampson Hospital in Glasgow. No other details were released. A fire in Pikeville brought first responders to Town Mountain Road early yesterday morning. And though the home was destroyed, first responders say the homeowner survived thanks to a Good Samaritan. Crews with the Pikeville Fire Department were dispatched to a mobile home on Town Mountain Road and arrived to find the home engulfed in flames. Firefighters say the resident had already been evacuated from the home because an unknown passerby noticed the smoke and helped them get to safety. And though the cause of the fire is still under investigation, they say the situation could have been much worse.
If you have a mobile home fire, you don't have a very long time to get out. It doesn't take long for them to go up. Luckily, we had a Good Samaritan that was here before we were and actually helped the resident get out. I would like to find out who he was and get his name because that saved a life.
Firefighters were also able to save the resident's cat from the flames. The fire is still under investigation. New details from federal investigators are raising questions about whether a deadly plane crash could have been prevented. An aviation attorney says Boeing could have done more to address a known safety issue years before the crash. According to the latest report from the NTSB, a critical part that helps mount the engine to the wing failed multiple times on other aircrafts more than 15 years ago. The attorney says Boeing should have required older MD-11 planes to upgrade that part and called for more frequent inspections.
And this is absolutely something that should be looked at very closely, not only Boeing's liability, but UPS's liability for allowing this particular aircraft with this particular part to remain in service.
She also says the findings could open the door for legal claims and that UPS may also face scrutiny for keeping the aircraft in service. In Laurel County, London police have announced the appointment of acting chief of police Gary Meller. They say Chief Meller brings more than 40 years of distinguished law enforcement experience with an extensive background in team management, crisis response, and operational oversight. AAA says a new survey shows most drivers know certain behind-the-wheel behaviors are dangerous, but many admit they still do them anyway. AAA's latest Traffic Safety Culture Index survey looks at how drivers see their own habits on the road. It found most people understand the risks of distracted, aggressive, and impaired driving, yet a significant number say they have done those very things in just the past month.
Drivers understand the dangers of some of these driving behaviors like distracted driving, aggressive driving, speeding, even impaired driving, even things like drowsy driving. They understand that those are dangerous behaviors.
AAA says the gap between what drivers know and how they act continues to put everyone on the road at risk. AAA says the data helps them focus messaging on personal responsibility and reminding drivers that those choices can have lifelong consequences. In Martin County, groundwork is being laid for a new consolidated elementary school. The new Martin County Elementary School will be a consolidation of Inez and Warfield Elementaries. The superintendent says it's happening because of declining enrollment, plus the Warfield School is in the floodplain. The plan is for the school to be ready to open in August of 2028. It's almost that time of year again. Tax season starts later on this month. WMT's Neely Green spoke with a certified public accountant about what folks should know ahead of filing.
The Internal Revenue Service will begin accepting tax files as soon as January 26th. With that in mind, there are some things you'll want to have prepared.
If they're going to a new preparer, they'll need to bring all that information, for all the individuals, husband, wife, children. The preparer will need their social security numbers, birthdays. They'll need their wage documents, their any interest, income, dividends that they have.
Byron Jacobs is a certified public accountant and has helped many folks through their tax seasons. He says this year will look somewhat different because of new legislation.
There's no tax on overtime, and individuals can exclude up to $12,500 of their overtime from tax, and that's used that increases their standard deduction.
There is also no tax on tips. One person can exclude up to $25,000 of their tip income from taxation. Jacobs says there are also changes when it comes to state and local taxes.
Previously, it was $10,000. This year, you can deduct up to $40,000 of your state and local income taxes.
The government also has tax relief for those of a certain age.
There's also an increased standard deduction for taxpayers that are age 65 and over. There's a $6,000 increase per person for the standard deduction.
Jacobs says once taxes are e-filed, you could receive a direct deposit back in 7 to 10 days or check in the mail within 21 days. In Knott County, Neely Green, WYMT Mountain News.
The filing deadline is on April 15th, but extensions may be given till April 15th. Jacobs says you can request a payment plan if you owe the government money. Governor Andy Beshear released the 2026 recommended highway plan, and there are a few projects in our area that are being invested in. These include work to connect the Cumberland Parkway with Kentucky 80 northeast of Somerset in Pulaski County. Another is construction of a new interchange on the Hal Rogers Parkway near the Highview development site in Perry County, and relocating Town Mountain Road from Pikeville to US 119 in Pike County. There are many other projects. We have more about some of those on our website at WYMT.com. The governor says the nearly $9.5 billion plan is based on anticipated revenues through 2032. With winter temperatures returning, AAA is reminding drivers you may not need to warm up your car as long as you think. AAA says modern fuel-injected vehicles warm up much faster than older models. Letting a car sit idle for long periods can actually waste fuel, increase emissions, and even damage the engine over time.
Unless your vehicle is that age, your vehicle has a fuel injected engine, and it will warm up. The engine will warm up in seconds. It doesn't even take minutes. So by the time you got into your vehicle, you started up, by the time you click that seat belt, your vehicle is ready to go.
AAA also warns idling a car unattended can increase the risk of vehicle theft, even in cold weather. AAA says in most cases, once your windows are clear and you're buckled in, you're ready to go. And this cold weather can also cause problems inside your home. AAA says a little preparation can go a long way in preventing costly damage. AAA says frozen and burst pipes are some of the most common winter claims they see. And before temperatures drop, they recommend homeowners take time to review their insurance coverage and prepare their homes.
That's something that you want to find out, exactly how are you covered, what is covered, before you have to actually, worry about problems and deal with damage to those frozen pipes.
AAA also recommends insulating pipes, sealing air leaks, disconnecting outdoor hoses, and keeping a consistent temperature during cold snaps. AAA says knowing your coverage ahead of time can reduce stress and speed up the claims process if damage does occur. Kentucky has its first confirmed measles case of the new year. It's in Jessamine County. The person who tested positive was not vaccinated. They were exposed to an out-of-state traveler who was in Fayette County between New Year's Eve and January 2nd. If you think you've been exposed to measles, doctors say you should keep an eye out for symptoms for 21 days. Coming up, Lady Whistledown returns for Bridgerton Season 4. That and more in a look of today's Eye on Entertainment.
And we are tracking a series of first alert weather days that will continue from now all the way up until Monday.